We've won back-to-back promotions in the Tall Kings Challenge. We now sit in Tier 7 with Biggleswade United, and we can only sign players who are 6'4" and above. Can we make it 3 successive promotions? That'd be quite the tall order. Anyway, we need a strong summer to reinforce our team of giants to give us every chance to at least survive in this new league. This season we play in the Southern League Premier Central, just one step below the Vanarama North and South. So the biggest, if you pardon the pun, signing of the summer was the return of our former star man, George Baker Moran. 6'4" and comfortable playing as a poacher, he enjoyed 2 very good seasons with us, where he scored an amazing 47 goals in just 50 league appearances. He tried the step up to Averley in the National League South, but after that didn't work out, he's agreed to rejoin us a step below on a 1-year deal. That's right, you heard me, a 1-year deal. We can actually offer part-time contracts now. What a relief. This is going to be huge for us. This will stop players just jumping ship to other teams in the middle of February without me having any control over it. I've been crying out for this to happen. So of course, I immediately offered contracts to all of our best players. We also signed 6'6" Connor Wheatley as a backup keeper. 6'4" centre-back Kewin Kwiek will likely be a starter for us. He's formerly played for Christchurch and Hales Owen Town. And by the way, have you ever seen so many ones on somebody's technical stats before? But he does have the decent physicals, which is all we need. 6'7" striker Aidan Jennings joins us on loan from Boston Town to provide cover for the front two. He's just 17 years old, but has good jumping and heading ability, which is what this team's built on. 34-year-old Adam Bailey Dennis joins us. He stands 6'6" tall with 18 jumping reach. His lack of pace means I'll probably try and get him trained up in defensive midfield to fulfill our anchor role. He should score a fair few headers from corners this year for us. He's formerly of Leastham. We did sign other players, but they were all youth prospects to fill out the under-18 team with a hope that some of them may come good. So going into the new season, our starting lineup looks like this. Jason Alexander in goal, a back 3 of Kwiek, Palmer Brown and Thorne, George Murphy at right wing back with Charlie Holiday at left wing back, Daly Bennis will be playing the anchor role, with Giddings as a deep line playmaker, and Jay Ford, the attack-minded central midfielder. Destiny Oladipo will be our target man, with George Baker Moran operating as our poacher. We will be sticking with our simple Route 1 style, with the hope being that our team full of giants will be able to dominate in the air to give us the edge. The media think we'll finish rock bottom of the league with 200 to 1 odds. Let's go prove them wrong. The season got off to a good start with a 2-1 win against Banbury United. There was a debut goal from the penalty spot for Bailey Dennis, who ran away in celebration doing the "whoa" gesture, before Isaac for the opposition got a penalty of his own to even the score, and he ran away doing a sort of praying gesture. Murphy and Ford combined well on the right-hand side to set up Destiny Oladipo to score the winner in the 84th minute. There was no weird gesture from Oladipo, but he did magically phase through another player, which I'm unable to demonstrate. This was followed up by 2 disappointing defeats to Needham and Hitchin in the league, but we rounded out the month in positive fashion by beating local rivals Biggleswade Town in the FA Cup first qualifying round. Baker Moran got himself back on the score sheet in a Biggleswade United shirt with this nice finish, following a ball over the top. Palmer Brown then scored from the spot to make it 2. They managed to get in behind with Gordon to pull one back, but Destiny Oladipo was on hand to smash home this effort after some nice interplay with Murphy. A player named German then fittingly scored from the penalty spot, and it was all too easy for Gordon to convert this effort as our defence stood around like very tall statues. Low-knee Jennings was on hand to head in at the far post to secure the dramatic victory for us. Welcome to September, or as it's now known, Hemel Hempstead Town-themed month, because we play them 3 games in a row this month. But first, let's recap what else happened. Bromsgrove Sporting inflicted our first straight league defeat on us, but we bounced back against Lowestoft Town in the FA Cup second qualifying round. Wing-back George Murphy did well to poke this effort in, before Jennings played a nice through ball to Giddings, who timed his run well to finish. Dawson scored the closest range finish in history to pull one back, before Murphy got his second of the game as this opportunity fell into his lap. Dawson got another late on, outpacing our defenders who seemed to be out for a leisurely afternoon jog, but we'd done enough to secure the win. We then won 4-0 against Colville Town to get our first league win in forever. But move over, Lord of the Rings, because now it's time for the epic Hemel Hempstead Town trilogy. Get your popcorn. We drew with them in the league, and then we drew with them again 2-2 in the FA Cup third qualifying round, before playing them in the replay at our place. Bailey Dennis scored another penalty to put us ahead. We then scored another one of our specialities, a headed cross resulting in a headed goal. You want to see my players tap dancing, they end up with terrible headaches afterwards. Ogden Rinde got this goal in the 79th minute, but we managed to secure this huge win in the cup. Our finances are roughly where they were at the start of the season, with £129,000 in the bank. The league table does not make for good reading, as we sit 16th on 7 points. Meanwhile, we're 21st in the possession table with 42%. Interestingly, the only team below us are top of the table Royston Town, which helps justify my low possession, high heading tactical decision. Speaking of heading, we sit right where we belong at the top of the headers won table with a ratio of 67%. October was a busy month with us playing 9 games in total. In the FA Trophy third qualifying round, we got past Haringey Borough on penalties to progress. Over in the FA Cup, we played Hungerford Town in the fourth qualifying round. Hungerford are struggling at the bottom of the Vanarama National League South, so this was a favourable draw for us. And so it proved as we ran out 3-1 winners. Holiday scored a back post header from a floated cross to put us ahead. An uncharacteristic wayward pass from Jay Ford gifted Hungerford possession, which resulted in this goal. Jay Ford made amends with this headed effort. Bailey Dennis scored a powerful header to make it 3 for us, and put us through to the first round proper. Let's hope for a favourable draw. A lot of the rest of the month was us playing catch-up to play our games in hand in the league. But we do seem to have turned a corner form-wise and we're back to winning ways after our shaky start to the season. We got an impressive 6-1 win against Leicester. Baker Moran opened the scoring with this frankly ridiculous effort from distance after picking up on a loose ball. He's back, baby. Not wanting to be outdone, Destiny Oladipo scored an even more ridiculous effort from distance on 37 minutes. He then got another 2 minutes later with this more traditional headed effort, getting us back to what we're used to. Baker Moran nicely played in Whiteswick for our fourth. Palmer Brown then banged in a thumping penalty. The opposition then did a very unusual corner, where they repeatedly played it along the ground, which confused all the giants in our team. Loney striker Jennings headed in this effort, which went in off the crossbar to make it 6. We actually conceded 6 as well this month, in a 6-3 defeat in the FA Trophy first round. But otherwise, we won every other game in October. A great month for us, capped off with the recognition of getting the Manager of the Month award. Thanks guys, thank you very much. Do you remember when I said let's hope for a favourable draw in the FA Cup? If not, what's wrong with you? It was literally a few minutes ago. Pay attention! Well, I got my wish as we were drawn against Anstey Nomads, who are struggling in the relegation zone in the very league that we're in. They did beat Macclesfield on the way to this round, and I can see why, because they got off to a bright start against us, with Adek Bowler scoring after 24 minutes after a scramble in the area. Rob Davis did well to finish this one in style following a Giddings free kick. Jennings did well to score from the tightest of tight angles to make it 2-1 on the day. Dare we hope for another favourable draw? We also had a nice league result against Halesowen Town, running out 4-0 winners. Henman Mason put this one away with the assist from Whitewick. Jennings had a lot to do before converting this effort to make it 2. Bailey Dennis smashed this header in from a corner for our third, before George Murphy scored this sensational individual goal deep into injury time to make it 4-0. Our only defeat in the league was this 1-0 loss to Lowestoft, thanks to this goal from Dawson. But we ended the month with an FA Cup second round game against National League team Chesterfield. So we did get another favourable draw. Nice. And I felt like this one was winnable. Jennings, looking like an absolute giant, beat 3 defenders to this Murphy cross to put us ahead. Holiday then made their keeper look foolish with this header. Cross Machine Murphy was on hand with the assist again. They scored this one late on to set up a tense finish, but we'd done enough to secure a third round tie. Now this is the round where the romance of the FA Cup really comes to life, as Premiership teams go into the pot as well. So at Biggleswade United, because we're a non-league team, we're dreaming of an away tie against Arsenal or Man United to spin some money for us and have a great day out for our fans. Well, the draw happened and we got Premier League Brentford. It may not be Old Trafford, but it should put a few quid in our bank account. Currently we sit on 344k in the bank after that last game. We've risen up to second in the league, but it's a close table with just 6 points between first and 8th. We're 18th in the possession table with an average of 45%. The top 3 teams in the league are all in the bottom 5 of this particular table, which I find fascinating. We are of course on top of the headers won ratio percentage league on 66%. December was a bit hit and miss for us as we suffered 2-0 defeats to AFC Sudbury and St Ives Town, which unfortunately will have put a dent in our promotion aspirations. But we did manage to win the other 4 games that month. We beat Bedford Town with Murphy heading in to put us ahead in the pouring rain. Baker Moran controlled it well and showed good composure to make it 2. We then had a close-fought game against Needham Market. We opened up the scoring after 4 minutes with this goal from Baker Moran, where his persistence really paid off. They then equalised with a header, which by the way is unacceptable. We're a team full of giants. How tall is this guy anyway? Let me check. Let's see here. 6'5" with 7 goals and 11 starts, you say? Well, excuse me while I add him to my shortlist. Or should that be tall list? Quirk then scored an unfortunate own goal, while under no real pressure to give them the lead. Jennings put away a nice header from a floated cross to equalise before Murphy powerfully headed in Holiday's cross. 4 wins and 2 losses in the end in December. Not the best, not the worst. So as we head into January, just want to say thank you very much for making it this far into the video. Please do leave a like if you're enjoying it. Subscribe if you do want to know when future episodes of this series are out, and also to help push it out to more people, because we're only a little tiny channel. Let's get back to the video. Our first game in the year 2026 was the big FA Cup third round tie against Premier League team Brentford, and as you would expect, we lost. To be honest, I'm surprised it was only 2-0, considering we're all the way down in the 7th tier. But looking at the match stats here, Brentford had 33 shots with just 5 on target, so I think we should say thank you to their strikers for not being able to find the target on about 85% of their shots. But here's 2 of the shots that did hit the target for them. Pleasingly, they did miss a penalty in the 80th minute thanks to a great save from Jason Alexander. That result boosted our bank balance to 612k, which is absolutely massive for us. Otherwise, weirdly, it was a month of 2-2 draws. We drew 2-2 with our former player Big Ollie Wilson's team Leicester. Wilson's actually been in fine form for them since joining. He scored 23 goals and 53 appearances. Leicester went ahead with this headed effort from Trickett. Unacceptable. Let's check his height. Right, let's see here. 5'11". Right, that's it. Jumping lessons for all our giant centre-backs next training session. They then scored a second deep into the second half, looking like the game was beyond doubt. But up steps Jay Ford, who scores with this Tony Yeboah-esque goal from well outside the area. This might just be my favourite goal of the save so far. That man, Jay Ford, then popped up again in the 94th minute with another beauty of a goal, this time from just outside the area to snatch a draw from the jaws of defeat. We drew 3 times in the league, won twice in the league, and progressed in the League Cup across this month, which isn't too bad. Why don't we take a look at some player stats now? Destiny Oladipo is the top scorer with 16 goals, and he's also got the most Man of the Match awards. George Murphy is an assist machine with 15 assists. We're second in what is still a very close league, and we're still very much in with a shout of the title. We're down in 20th for possession, and still comfortably top of the headers won ratio. February saw us progress in the League Cup, which we've actually been doing pretty well in this season. I've just been quiet about it because I didn't view it as an important competition. Now I know we're in with a decent chance of winning it, I'm suddenly more interested. So here's some highlights. We beat St Ives Town in the Southern League Cup quarter-final. Another own goal under minimal pressure from Quirk put them ahead. I promise he is a decent centre-back. These highlights just don't do him justice. He just needs to learn which side he's supposed to score at, that's all. But the own goal just seemed to motivate us as 5 minutes later Jennings scored a nice header from a Murphy cross. Ford then flicked on for Jennings to score his second on 48 minutes. Bailey Dennis did his thing and scored a towering header from a corner. They got one back with a penalty, but that man Jennings then put the game beyond doubt near the end of the game with a powerful header. A perfect 10 rating for Jennings in this game. We had another 4-2 game, this time in the league against Barwell. Bailey Dennis with a carbon copy of the goal he scored in the last game opened the scoring for us. Oladipo scored a nice header from a Holiday cross to make it 2. They then pulled one back via Organ after 25 minutes. But Giddings scored a sensational free kick just after half-time to make it 3. Jennings then stepped up to take a penalty. I'm pretty sure he only scores with his head. I don't even know if he knows how to kick a football. Let's check. Oh no, he kicked it in. Good on you, Jennings. Way to kick a football. Anderson got one back in injury time, but it was too little too late as we were comfortable winners. Davis also got a straight red for this challenge. Yeah, no arguments about that. We also saw a 2-2 draw with Redditch, a 3-2 loss to Leamington, with the other results all going in our favour. It was nice to see Baker Moran getting recognised for a great month by winning Player of the Month for February. We also got recognised with a second place in Manager of the Month. March was a bad month for us. We lost 2-1 in the Southern League Cup semi-final to Cirencester. But as I've always said, that competition just isn't important. But what really hurt was following that up with a 4-0 loss to league leaders Royston Town. We did show encouraging signs beating Lowestoft Town 4-1, but we followed this up with a 2-2 draw against Anstey Nomads and a 4-1 loss to Hales Owen Town. So now I do have to share something with you. I've been training a second tactic all season, a bit of a break glass in case of emergency type situation. So this is the tactic. You can see we're pretty familiar with it thanks to training it in the background. It changes up the style of play to gegenpress, but with more simplified player roles due to the lack of technical abilities of our players. It really did feel like the game was telling me to switch something up, so I hit the switch and we're playing the system against Stamford. Baker Moran playing as a lone pressing forward converted this low cross to put us ahead, but they soon levelled with this absolute screamer from Dos Santos. Oladipo playing in from the left wing was on hand to head in this floated cross from Palmer Brown. Jay Ford played in Baker Moran for his second, It did look a little bit offside to me this one, but I'm not complaining. Jennings then had a simple tap-in thanks to some nice work from George Murphy. So I'm going to try the system a bit in April, just to see if it continues working for us, but ultimately I don't want to play it long term at this level, just because our players won't be able to cope with the high pressing, high intensity style week in, week out, you know? We still sit second in the league somehow, although Royston Town have opened up a big gap at the top, but we should comfortably make the playoffs. I'm also studying for my Continental C License coaching badge. The board finally gave in to my incessant requests. I bet you're thinking, hey, what about the youth intake? It's April. Well, don't bother. Absolutely none of them are over 6'4", so absolutely none of them can be used. See you guys. So we're into April, the business end of the season, and it all comes down to this. We actually strung together some decent results with the new system, and we went on a 5-match winning streak, including a 3-1 win over St Ives Town. Ward put them ahead just before half-time, but we fought back in the second half. Bailey Dennis scored a penalty followed by a header from a corner to give us the lead. He's 35 years old, he's played 58 times for us and scored 17 goals. Quite the signing. A Whitewick header put the game beyond doubt for us. We followed that up with a 2-1 win against Alvechurch and a 3-3 draw with Brackley Town. All of which meant we finished the season in second place. Royston Town deservedly go up as champions. They have been leading all season to be fair, so I can't have any complaints. We have to play Hemel Hempstead Town for the 5th time this season. That's got to be some sort of record. Although I do seem to recall a weird spell in the 90s where Wimbledon and Tottenham just seemed to randomly play each other every week for about 5 weeks. I think it was in like the FA Cup, the Carling Cup and the League or something. But anyway, let's get to the playoffs. So 2 penalties from Whittaker put them 2 up. But we managed to fight back in the second half with a goal from Palmer Brown from a Jennings corner. Jennings was then on hand to head in on the 91st minute to make it 2-2, taking the game to extra time. They scored just before half-time in extra time thanks to this goal. We do always seem to struggle with low crosses. Something to ponder for sure. We then saw a collector's item. A goal from Quirk against the opposition, rather than for them, to level the game again. However, heartbreakingly, in injury time of extra time, they scored this goal to end the game 4-3 to Hemel Hempstead, which means we have another year in this division. We gave it our best shot, and we came up just short. Ironic given we're a team full of giants. But I think we can be proud of our efforts this season, and with 2 or 3 quality signings, I think we can go up next season. The final league table looks like this, with Barwell going up via the playoffs, but we can be proud of being just 3 points off the champions. We finished 18th in the possession standings, and comfortably top of the headers win ratio table. Despite not getting promoted, the board still wanted to add more capacity to our stadium, increasing the standing area to hold a further 500 supporters, which will take around 8 months to complete. Now on to the end of season review. George Baker Moran wins signing of the season, I think for the 2nd time in his career for us, which is quite the feat. Annual revenue was a bit up and down, with no TV money this time, but more prize money and sponsorship. Destiny Oladipo got fans player of the season, and young player of the season, with George Baker Moran the top goal scorer with 28 goals, and George Murphy with most assists with 20. I'd say strikers one area we don't need to strengthen next season. We end the season financially healthy with 560k in the bank, and the board have actually given us a transfer budget of 160k for next season, and an increased wage budget. The worry with that is, that transfer budget's likely to go into wages, which means we're going to have a sky-high wage bill, which means we have to get promoted quickly, otherwise we'll probably be in financial ruin. But hey, come back next time I guess to find out what we end up doing. So there we have it, another season in the books, no promotion this time, but we came mighty close. But thank you very much for joining me. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you do want to see future episodes, say hello in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers!